Hi, it's Elena from Reclaim Your Body Guide. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite topics, and it's sitting and health and how these two things relate together. But this time I'm going to read to you a little bit from this article, which is actually the cover story of the New Scientist for July, and it's called How to Sit to Get Fit. And it's a pretty catchy title, and too bad I didn't think of it when I was doing my sitting workshop earlier this year, but who knows, maybe next time. So the article covers the research of the Hadza community in Tanzania. So the Hadza community is one of the last populations of hunter-gatherers on the planet, and they are remarkably healthy. So people went to live with them, to study them, and they measured every movement made and every calorie burned by those people in order to try and understand why they're healthier than us. And specifically, this article addresses the relationship between prolonged periods of chair sitting and heart disease. The biochemical reactions that arise as a result of periods of prolonged sitting, and what we can do about it, and why they happen to us and not to the Hadza community in this case. And it also addresses the first time when the relationship between sitting and mortality risk was discovered. So it goes, we knew we had a lot to learn from the Hadza about staying physically active. It turns out they also had something important to teach us about resting. Whether over the next 10 years, together over the next 10 years, we would come to understand why chairs are so irresistible and why they seem to make us ill. In a simpler time, back in 2012, the world was alerted to a new and insidious danger, an invisible pandemic. Aimin Lee, an epidemiologist at Harvard University, analyzed mortality data from heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, and found a common culprit: sitting. In a landmark paper in The Lancet, Lee and her colleagues concluded that prolonged periods of sitting, of inactivity, killed more than 5 million people every year globally, making the health risks similar to smoking and obesity. And that's when in the media came out that title and slogan, "Sitting is the new smoking." And I'm just going to open brackets here, spoiler, it's not. Even more alarming though, for those of us who spend our lives in front of a screen, exercise doesn't seem to fully undo the dangers of sitting. I'm going to pause here for dramatic effect and reread this because it is important. Even more alarming for those of us who spend their lives in front of a screen, exercise doesn't fully undo the dangers of sitting. Long hours spent in a chair or on the sofa steal years from our lives, even if we hit the gym religiously. Sitting is different and may be worse than just a lack of exercise. So this has been kind of an underlying topic of all of my movement education. I have always advised people for health to break up their sitting every 30 minutes with 5 minutes of some kind of activity. So if you sit, put on a timer, get up every 30 minutes, go around the block, go to the toilet, have a glass of water. Don't let your body to kind of relax for a long time, because this is what creates the changes in the muscles that then affect enzymes, that then affect how your muscles work, that then affect your blood lipids profile, which in turn which in turn affects your heart health. So this article and that particular series are going to be addressed at heart health. Of course, it all ties with, pain or obesity or anxiety, because we cannot deconstruct the body or different problems and separate them from each other. But again, in this particular piece, the emphasis is on heart health. So the tip number one that has always been on my page throughout the years is every 30 minutes, get up and move.